Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacalyn.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor. And now, the doctor is in.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We are so happy to have you join us. You are watching Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn presents Celebrate Great Britain Royally Rich Show. I am your host, executive producer, director, and broadcast engineer. And this program is all about celebrating business, tourism, and communities between the two great countries, the USA and the UK. Thank you for joining us again. My co-host is Mr. Cini, and the stars of our show are Pelham Turner and Helena Chard. Let's bring out Mr. Cini first. Hello, my friend. How are you?
I'm just fine, Dr. Jacalyn. And how are you today?
I'm full of energy. I don't know why.
I'm really amazed. You have knocked me back. And today's the day that we formally apply to become part of the British Empire. I think we should get that paperwork started, don't you?
I definitely do. I am so excited about this show. Ian and Helena always bring us the most incredible people. They've got wonderful stories that I'm really appreciative that we get the opportunity to share. So let's bring out our stars, Ian and Helena. Hello.
Hi. Lovely to see you. Full of energy.
Such a pleasure seeing you both.
Today, the sun is shining in London, and we have this whole bunch of candy under the table that you won't see.
We seriously do.
That's actually down there sort of keep us full of energy, full of sugar, full of
and for my part, I have a Big Mac and a large order of fries under my computer.
I don't have any candy, but I do have something really special which has me very energized. You might have seen it on social media, and I just have to share it. Hopefully it'll show with the screen, but this beautiful picture was sent to me by Sam Shaker, and I just am so grateful because I've never had anyone paint my portrait before, and it's just so it's just a gift that leaves me speechless that he would do that. And it was packaged so well. It's unbelievable. So thank you for the introduction to him.
Much nicer than the work the police artist did last week.
By the way, we have Esther in the house. Hi, Esther. Great to see you.
Hi, Esther. Oh, that's great. So we've got our guests backstage. So we've got news today, lots of variety of news. There's lots of celebrations going on. But one thing that's just happened, that's just been introduced, it's a government-backed campaign calling all school children to celebrate One Britain, One Nation. And they've actually, it's a day on the 25th of June, so coming up very shortly. And people have got mixed feelings about it. I'm not going to comment on it, but there is a little bit of Celebrate Great Britain, I feel, in it. And it's the song, obviously children don't have to sing it on the 25th of June, but it's about children learning shared values, tolerance, kindness, pride, respect. So I just think, really, in a way, it's not a bad thing. It's almost back to basics, and hey, it's instilling good things. So one of the verses is, we are Britain, we have one dream, to unite all people in one great team. I could sing it to you. I think the problem is actually it's not very melodic. It sounds a bit like a football anthem. And actually, I think England's winning football at the minute, aren't they?
Will you sing it for us? We would love that.
Do you know, I don't think I will. It's not very tuneful. There's something not quite right about it. So, I mean, there's lots of problems. You know, people are having a go at Boris, and people are saying, you know, why has this come up, and various things. But I won't go into it. It's just a new thing. My personal feeling is, why not? At the end of the day, if you can instill good values, why not? I think. So
absolutely.
I think that's great. The UK is a little bit like the US in that when you say something like that, it seems sometimes that there are millions of people poised to jump all over you because they think what you're doing is taking something away from them. And But that whole idea that we should be teaching values of a civilized society, I think it's a terrific idea. I think we could use that here.
Yeah, there you go. That's good.
I agree. I love it.
They've actually, I think it's an ex-policeman actually in the north that in fact has written the lyrics, and school children is singing it. So it is actually out there on social media, but we don't have it today. But it's worth a listen. I think it would be good for between it slightly, but yeah, it's good. Moving on.
Mm-hmm.
So there has been celebrations here in Great Britain on the 22nd of June. It's the 4th year that National Windrush Day has been celebrated. So there's been lots of celebrations, festivities, lots of online music, and it's really important to commemorate. If people don't know what National Windrush Day is, it's 73 years ago when 492 West Indian people arrived on a big ship at Tilbury Docks, and it was to help fill jobs in the UK. So obviously honouring the Windrush generation, their amazing contribution to Great Britain. And I think the thing about it is to remember as well that diversity of our society really is the greatest strength. And although that we know there are little things that go with this, I think it's one day to celebrate. So that's good. People celebrating, so all good fun.
That's wonderful.
Enjoyed that. I don't know if everyone knows, but here in the UK, it's the first major investiture ceremony taking place today since the pandemic. Now, it's taking place in St James's Palace. It's normally Buckingham Palace, but at the moment there are renovations, not renovations to make it beautiful, but things that are needed in the palace going on. So it's St James's Palace. We have Prince Charles, who's going to be hosting the event, and lovely Prince William will be presenting 32 of the recipients with their special honours for outstanding achievement. So it's to do with the MBE tonight that's going on. So that's great. I mean, the last person I remember was Tom Moore, who was in Windsor in 2020.
And I think it's important as well because if there's any knighthoods, we actually celebrate, or the royal family celebrate the knighthoods by placing a sword on each shoulder. And hopefully William has been practicing his sword skills, not to remove someone's ear in the process at the same time. We're very bit careful of these knighthoods.
Really. I mean, there's a lovely picture as well, I think, of Prince Charles and Prince William, which I've taken, which I think it just comes.
It's a lovely picture as well, isn't
it? Thank you. I think as well, just to thread it in, obviously this is a supersonic at Windsor, so it's not quite the same as St James's Palace, but that's obviously the scene and night that take place there. But I think because obviously Father's Day in Windsor, and happy birthday Prince William as well, he's just turned 39. I felt it was a nice shot.
Beautiful.
Very beautiful.
Really.
It amazes me as well with Prince William because obviously it makes me feel quite old. And the reason why it makes me feel quite old is that I did his first baby pictures when he was 3 months old. So that's 39 years ago now. Where's my life? Where's my life gone in the meantime?
He's working very, very hard.
So as we speak, somebody is teaching Prince William flat side down, don't swipe right or left.
Yeah, absolutely. and don't raise the sword above your head. There's never been an accident, as far as we know, in 300 years.
These events are all great reasons for Americans to visit the UK because every one of these events is celebrated with a lot of pageantry that you just don't see here. And, I think if you're planning a trip to the UK, and you should be, take a look at the calendar and try to include one or two of these events in your trip.
I mean, the beauty of probably for people like ourselves who live in London, there's a thing called changing of the guard.
Even we enjoy it all the time.
And on the average day, even in winter, this happens. and every day, something like about 10 to 20,000 tourists turn up, rain, shine, snow, whatever it is, to watch the guard. You know, so it causes the major traffic jam every morning in London. We circumnavigate the palace just in case.
I actually have seen it in 2018, I believe, and it was a windy, cold day, but I didn't care. I had to see it.
There you go.
Do that anyway. And what did you do?
Valuable American tourists that we've actually seen it already.
What would you do, Dr. Jacalyn, to try to get the guard to flinch?
Oh, I wouldn't do that, because that'd be disrespectful, right?
Yeah, they're actually trained not to flinch at all. And people do try and throw things at them and try and put them off, but they're not allowed to. All you can do is just do their sort of movement after a while, just to keep the circulation going. But it is funny.
I just can't believe the incredible posture they have and the discipline, and it's amazing.
They are. More news. And something that I love to hear. It's just recently Prince William's been talking about. I mean, obviously he is a patron of lots of charities, but Centrepoint as a charity that he's a patron of, it's a youth homeless charity, and that is especially close to his heart. He inherited that duty from his mother, Diana, Princess of Wales, all those years ago. But not only that, she used to take the boys, more considering he was slightly older, when they were young teenagers, to this Centrepoint, just to, to highlight homelessness and to teach them different, it was a lovely thing that Diana, Princess of Wales used to do with the children, with lots of different things. So, and at a very young age, he used to talk to people at the charity, and he's got a really personal connection. I think as well, the one thing about it actually pops into the charity on not unannounced, but privately, and he does that quite regularly, because he realises the young people actually speak to him more openly when the cameras aren't there, and he works with volunteers, whether it's packing food, etc. And the whole thing is the health team there help young people to move on from the cycle of homelessness, which is a really big thing. If you think about the pandemic, 16 to 24-year-old age group, 60% of them are on unemployment at the moment. So, it's a huge thing to work on. And 50% more calls and contact has come into the charity, which I think is huge, just in the last year. So they're really doing a fantastic job. So thanks, William.
Wow, really valuable.
There's a little funny as well. There's a chap called Paul Harris who's in the UK. He's a software engineer. He's 60 from Hampshire, and he's always looking at little things, always doing lots of research and things, and looking into the family history. And he's discovered, much to his family's excitement, that he is President Biden's English cousin. Now, apparently, when I was looking into it, there are 25 presidents that have Irish family, apparently, which is quite high. But the family are completely thrilled, and they all want to have tea with the president. I would say he's probably far too busy to have tea with them. But obviously, the grandchildren, everyone's really excited. The kind of things that people do in pairs. There's lots of news. There's more news. Can I carry on? Are we okay for time? Does anyone want to?
You read my mind, Helena. It's time for a quick break. So thank you for that. Perfect. We are going to hear from some of our sponsors, and then when we come back, will we have more news and guests?
Excellent.
All right, here we go. Stay with us, please.
The session that we had with BCAT was really entertaining and enlightening. We were able to put together some very specific steps that we as individuals can take, and it was really fun to all come together and see sort of where we're going as a team and how we can all get there together.
We had a tremendous experience with the BCAT partners. One of the challenges that we have as an organization is to make sure that we have the right people in the right chairs doing the right thing. To do that well, you have to have synergy. You can try to dream up ways to make sure that your group does that, or you can rely on experts. We would recommend BCAT partners to anybody who's looking to take their organization to the next level.
The world of healthcare is benefiting us in many ways, but the risk of becoming a victim to an airborne infection is increasing at a fast pace too. There are threats from viruses, allergic pollen, and chemicals which cause you loss of health, income, business, mental health, family and friends. All are at stake. One solution to this threat are the BV Air Sanitation Placide-based systems. When you call our team on 0208 104 3253, you find out about the amazing protection available. Protection that uses certified Battlefield, tested, standard and customized air disinfection systems for your personal and business use. Each system uses a filterless technology known as Placide, which attacks all airborne particles with microlighting to destroy and eliminate viruses and other harmful particles in your office, transport and home. You also benefit from extra bonuses such as low running and maintenance costs, no regular filter and part changes. You get to work with our trained experts and professional staff and be made aware of the latest in airborne protection and disinfection strategy. Keep yourself healthy by working with our trained experts and Placide virus killing systems, which keep you safe from airborne viruses. BV Air Sanitation Limited. We save lives, save businesses, and prevent infection. Schedule your free consultancy call and virus protection checklist. Call 0208 104 3253 or connect to us on www.bvbuster.com.
Every day it was the same old story. I worked hard to make sure no one noticed what I was dealing with, but my stomach never cared where I was. And the pain just kept coming. After too many close calls and even weight loss, I had to do something. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation helped me realize what was going on and even helped me find a specialist. Don't hide your symptoms. Get help at spillyourguts.org.
What a great way to come back to the show. Welcome. You are watching Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn presents Celebrate Great Britain Royally Rich Show. And I'm with this. And the story of our show. Helena, what were you saying?
I just said I've just got one more bit of news I want to share with everybody.
Perfect.
Which is, so 10 years in the making. This is to do with the Duchess of Cambridge, who, hats off, I think she's absolutely fantastic and really is the glue of the family, I feel, at the moment. She is excited because she has just launched the Royal Foundation Centre for Early Childhood. Now, it is a fabulous thing that's happening. It is something that's evolved over 10 years, and it is creating a happier, more mentally healthy and more nurturing society. And there's a report that's come out which is transforming lives for generations to come, which is cool. This report is The Big Change Starts Small, and it's written in collaboration with LSE here in the UK and Harvard University. And it highlights the critical impact of the early years. So the early years are 1 to 5 years, which I think Bobby talked about. It's really, really important years. And it sets out recommendations on how we can all make a difference on this issue. And the interesting thing, the analogy she used, which I find quite interesting, is it's the social equivalent of climate change. And if you think about it, we have the science, we have almost like things that we work to, we adhere to the climate change. And really, it's exactly the same with this, obviously human elements with it, because in years to come, we can teach young teenagers, obviously who are giving birth, all these facts and figures. And it's quite an obvious thing that I think has come out. And I just think, I really applaud her. I think it's great. It's going to really, really work, I know in my heart. And we so need it. So that was my final bit of news. I don't know what you feel about that, but
it's a great bit of news, because if you want people in their late teens and 20s to make good decisions and live productive lives, it starts when they're born through the age of 5. So I just think it's brilliant.
Absolutely. And I think
I totally agree.
Do you know something else I noticed, and it's very don't we all look good today? I know it's very sort of skin deep, but you all look very good today.
All I know is I do not want a second opinion on that.
I wonder if it has a lot to do with the fact that it's sunny where we all are, and we have some freedoms that we haven't had in a while, and we're here bringing stories of people who are doing amazing things. That could be it, right?
Absolutely. It's the Feel Good Factor show of the year.
Yay!
Perfect.
So shall we bring out our first guest? So just give a little bit of a brief beforehand, is that our first two guests today are artist Lanre Olagoke and filmmaker Jacalyn Francis. And they have the most incredible story. There's a little bit of royalty in this as well, but Lanre fights shy of being called royal, but he's from royal lineage, is how he describes himself as well. So let's bring them out.
Excellent.
Hi, Lanre.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Jacalyn.
Hi, nice to see you guys.
Welcome. We're so happy you're here.
It's so good to be here. So, if I can just start off this, because Lanre and Jacalyn, I mean, both of you welcome. Lanre, you have a royal lineage. You have the title, but you have the most amazing story as well, and especially about your career as an artist. But you've had some very hard times as well. And perhaps you can just go through a little bit of your history before we talk to Jacalyn in more depth, because I know he's got a great story to tell as well. But if you can actually just give us your story about how as a young person you had to leave home, what happened to you, and really your story, what you think today.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you fine.
Okay, I didn't quite get everything you were saying, Ian, because of the speaker box. Nevertheless, I think I got the first few words you said concerning, okay, my name is Lanre Olagoke. I was born in England, and I went back to Nigeria when I was 4 years old, and I have my siblings, with 7 of us. And I'm an artist, and I've been painting now over 40 years. And yes, I come from a royal lineage. My uncle, who is the Oba of Oyo, is the Alaafin of Oyo, Oba Lamidi Adeyemi. That's his name, well known. And the first, he's been on the throne for over 50 years. He's the third Alaafin of Oyo. And my mother and Alaafin of Oyo grew up together. So that gives me sort of a place where within the royalty, but I was one of the black sheep of the family, and the last person they really want to be called a royal or any form of chief or anything, and which is something I don't really sort of want to put under my name, being an artist. And I was when I was 19, I came back to London, and my mother wanted me to study economics. And that's where it all started. And I decided no economics. I went to Northeast London Polytechnic for almost a year. I was there, and that wasn't me. And I had to leave because I wasn't that academic in that sense, and that wasn't my thing. So I went back home. My mother said, you either go back and finish economics or you leave the house. So I decided then to leave the house. Then from there, I got into the street, I became homeless, and I became a drug addict. And that's where my story started. I started squatting all over the street from one place to another place and got into drugs, and I decided that I couldn't take this anymore. And from there, I was staying in a hostel, and this is where my story changed. I was in a hostel one day, and I'll be very, very brief. One day I was saying, well, because this hostel is where all the drug addicts you find on the street, and this is where you find them, and this is where they stay. It was over 250 men in that place, and I was in my small little room praying. I said, well, if there is God, how come everybody's dying in this place? Overdose, prison, and things like that. People are going to prison. The first thing you hear every morning is the siren. There is an ambulance. If it's not an ambulance, it's the police. And I was crying out. So this guy knocked on my door, an Irish guy, and he knocked on my door and he said, you can hear me praying. So I said to him, where did you come from? He said, he's been in and out of prison for 21 years. So he said, what do? I said, I'm an artist. The next thing he said is that they need me in prison. So I said to him, what do you mean they need me in prison? He said, well, you can do art in prison. And the coin dropped from there. And I realized that, yes, I want to do art in prison. I want to help people in prison. So I went to meet my social worker, or support worker then. And he said to me, I said to him, I want to go to prison. So he said to me, no, what do you mean you want to go to prison? So I had to explain myself to him. So I told him, I want to do art in prison. I want to help people in prison. And from that point, he said to me, the mere fact you came up to me that you want to go and help people in prison and this is what you want to do, now I can help you. And from that point, and that was very profound. It took me, I met with Paul Boateng, he used to be a minister, and Paul Boateng wrote a letter to me saying that I should go to the Unit for the Arts and Offenders. So I went to the Unit for the Arts and Offenders, and it took me, first thing they did was took me to Wandsworth Prison to see what prison is like. So I got into Wandsworth Prison, and all I saw was all these men. That was the first time I've ever been in prison in my life to visit. When I saw all these men, I told them, I said, look, I'm not different from some of you because I am a drug addict. But one thing I want to promise you is I'm going to come back into prison with my paint and my brush, and I want to teach art. It was very emotional. I left. 3 months after that, I was in my studio, in the same place, painting. And I realized now that the canvas became my victim and the brush became my weapon. So the only thing that could take my pain was the canvas. So every single time, my emotion, my pain, I put on that canvas. Then I became so prolific. So the drugs, I never went to any rehabilitation center. It was just drugs and painting until slowly I got addicted to painting, to paint. So every single money I have from friends who come in and give me money or drugs, I take the money and I go and buy my paint and brush.
Wow.
From there, things started changing. My life changed from there. And this carries on.
Carry on. I think as well, there's a when you first got your first commission, really, or someone paid you £5,000 for one of your paintings, and then you realised that the value that you had.
Exactly. I mean, that's when I left. When my social workers saw that they have to take me away from the environment where I was staying, because you find that environment I was staying was with drug addicts, and you can see in the cubicle, you can see if you go into the shower rooms, all you see is syringe, name everything, kind of drugs, everything you see in there. And my support worker decided that we need to take you out of the environment. He came into my room and he saw lots of paintings and he said, we need to take you out. Took me out of that environment and they put me in a studio flat. And that's how things started changing for me. I started looking for a job because I needed money to buy my addiction, which is paints and canvas. So I got a job at a place called St. Martin's in the Field in Charing Cross. Very well-known place. It's a church. And underneath that church, there is this crypt where when there's a concert upstairs, every single person comes, after there's a break, they come downstairs and have their tea, evening tea. So I went into the crypt to look for a job. And the last thing I wanted to see was a Nigerian because I did not want to meet any Nigerian because that's where my lineage is from. And if people see my situation or my condition, I'll bring bad name to my family. I had a single lock and my head was torn apart. I had all this bald head. I was bald head and my teeth were torn. It was a stage and I was very skinny. But what happened was that the manager happens to be a Nigerian. And I thought he will go back home and talk about me and people will know about me that I'm a drug addict. And I'll bring a bad name to the family. But one thing he did, he didn't realize he couldn't relate my face or my condition to somebody coming from a very well brought up family. So what he did was he employed me. He employed me. 2 or 3 months after that, he found out who I was. So he said to me, I heard you're an artist. So I said to me, yes, I'm an artist. He said, are you so and so? I said, yes, I am. He said, well, look, listen, I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm here on a professional level. I just want to help you because the crypt has a gallery. Why don't you bring your paintings out? And remember, my painting, I never show anybody my painting. Not at all. But he convinced me to sell my paintings, to bring my paintings and exhibit it. When I exhibited my paintings, it was phenomenal because a lot of people saw it and they saw my emotion, my pain in my paintings. And there was this particular lady who kept on coming into the crypt where I was working. And she decided that she needs to come to my studio. And remember, my studio was my sanctuary. I've never brought anybody in. But I decided to let this woman into my studio. So she saw a piece of my work. And when she saw that work, she said she wants to buy it. I said, why would you want to buy this painting? I said, how much will you want to pay for it? She said to me she wants to pay £5,000. And this was in the 80s. So you can imagine £5,000 in this time. So I said, why would you want to pay £5,000 for a painting? I was expecting her to say £500 or £200 for this painting. And she said to me, she said, Lanre, I can see your pain. I can see your emotion. My generation, I've been collecting paintings. We're art collectors. And the last thing I want to do is to say, this is what this. And I said to her, she was going to write a check for £5,000. So I told her not to write that check. I said, write 4,500. She said, why would I want her to write that? I said, first thing you did was you never capitalized on my vulnerability because I was vulnerable at that point. You could have said £200 for that painting and I would have sold it to her because £200 in those days was a lot of money. But she decided, she made me understand my value, who I am. And that, to me, I never compromised. Till today, she made me understand who I am and my value of my work. And from then on, things changed, my life changed. Even for over 20 years, I never sold my paintings until I got married. My wife, a very powerful woman, was the one who saw who I was and took me the way I was. But when we had our first child, I realized I have to start selling my paintings. And that's how, part of it is how I set up a charity called Art Alive Arts Trust. And the charity has worked with over 5,000 youth in the last 25 years, helping homeless people. We've done a lot of work in prison. That's where I came across, I met with the royal family, Princess Anne. I met with Princess Anne. I met with a lady who normally, a lot of people don't talk about her, but she's a lady, a great woman who has made a big difference in my life, and that's Lady Edwina Grosvenor. She's the daughter of the late Duke of Westminster. She was the one, and she actually does a lot of work in the prison service. She has supported my work for a long time, the charity, and I cannot even go into so much details about that. But since then, a lot has happened. Even the way I'm at now is owned by the Crown Estate, which is the Queen's Estate, where they provide places for me to work and work with a lot of young people, and the story goes on and on. But I would take
it's Helena. Thank you so much. Your story is so powerful. Thank you. I want to find out as well, the organisation Art Alive and AIR, Artists in Residence, what are the values and the ethics of the organisation?
What I think for us is about the youth. Is the key thing for us, youth and youth and youth. And because I understand them, and that's why I set up the charity, to help young people who are vulnerable, who have been homeless, those who are unemployed. So it's not every single person, even ex-offenders who've been out, to support them, to make their dreams become a reality. Because I've been there, I understand it. And since then, with all the young people, in fact, during this pandemic, we had a very, very wonderful friend of mine who decided that he would give me a venue with 20 rooms in it, empty rooms. And he said, Larry, here's the key. In a prime place, in the location in the West End. And I decided, he said, what are you going to do with it? I said, I'm going to fill it up with young artists, creative artists, which brings across, Jacalyn is one of the artists. And these young men and women have done incredible work during the lockdown. We have filmmakers like Jacalyn, we have painters, we have writers, we have furniture makers. Most of them are actually women, because we support a lot of women at this time. Because the reason why I'm saying that is because I see myself, through women, I've understand who I am. Through my mother, who's the great woman, my mother in Nigeria, she's the first woman to set up. She's actually, they're going to be building a museum. Sorry, I'm debating. And the museum is the Museum of Black Women in History. And there's nothing like that. My mother is 82 years old. And the grand patron of that charity is the King of Oyo State, which I know is coming to pass. We're working with collaborating with the British Museum. And I'm working with Bonnie Greer, who's the former trustee of, she's African-American, you might probably know her, Dr. Jacalyn. And Bonnie Greer, she's a great woman. And we're working with the director of the British Museum, who is Adwick Fisher, and they're supporting what the youth are doing. And we're going to be having a major event called the Era of Reclamation. And that's what we're working on. It's been a great time with the youth to understand them, to see how they are, to see their vision, to see where they're going, and to listen to them. It's about listening to them. And from there, they've made me understand who I am. And they make the youth in me come out even more. And they make me look younger as well.
That's great.
So, and I'm grateful for the young people, because we just need to listen to them more. And with that 6 months experience I've had with them, they've turned my life around. It's just as if I just started all over again. And that's why I said, we'll bring someone like Jacalyn, and he can talk about what he has experienced within that 6 months. And here we are.
I have a question actually for Jacalyn. Lanre, that was terrific. And Art Alive sounds wonderful. But Jacalyn, maybe you can talk about how Art Alive has integrated itself into your life and what you've gotten from it.
Yeah, sure thing. So I started Art Alive just on the brink of the first pandemic. And as you can tell, it was a huge change or shift in terms of my life, because I was used to, being able to go out and experience things. And as a filmmaker, a lot of my work come from my experience and just my experience. So being forced to be at home and being shut in, also having ADHD as well, I couldn't express myself through creating scripts and doing films. So Lanre and Art Alive came into my life by a friend called Judah. He introduced me to it. He's also a member, and he brought me to the AIR, which is Artist Residence, where I got to actually go into central London and actually have a space to create stuff and also meet other artists and to widen my whole kind of perspective. And during that period, I was able to start a production for an upcoming film that I'm working on, which is themes of mental health and stuff like that. And that couldn't have been done without Art Alive. Give me the space and just the freedom. I think that's what it is: freedom to be who I am, which is a filmmaker.
That's terrific. Great answer.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I have a question for both Jacalyn and Lanre, but Lanre, first I want to ask you, I just want to say I was getting chills when you described yourself going into a prison voluntarily, because that is not something that many people are going to do. But the painting behind you is absolutely magnificent. And I just wonder if you could share with us, what were you feeling when you painted it and what was your inspiration?
Life has been my inspiration, life and people. I love people a lot because people have always been there for me and people are my family. If you see this painting, this one I'm painting at, the actual original is this. And I'm going to put it up for you so you can see it. That's the original.
Oh, wow.
And this is the big painting.
Beautiful.
Wow. Beautiful.
And I did this piece 1988. And this is where my pain, my emotion goes into painting. When I start painting, I never think about what I want to do. Well, I just let my pain, everything comes in here by itself. And you can see the retrospective of that and the other one on the wall, which is the bigger one as well. This now speaks of the time when things have changed. And I call this piece atmosphere. Is where sometimes I find peace. And
stunning.
Thank you very much. But my emotion, what you see on my painting is my emotion and how I feel at any particular time. And I express that through my work. I never paint. I never have anything in mind when I'm painting. But when I'm finished, I always know when it's finished. And I know it's a gift. And I know it's just not me. But I know it's not just for me. And it's for the world to see. And the last result, or whatever result, or whatever thing I want to give anybody, is that there is hope. There's always hope, regardless what you go through. There is hope.
Great message. And oh, sorry, I was just going to ask Jacalyn and Lanre, just art inspires so much positivity and makes people feel so good. And I just wonder, what are your thoughts about how art inspires?
Yeah, so I believe art is beautiful because I think it can transcend space and time. I think with art, it's kind of like everyone is all different, everyone is special in their own ways, and we all have a different viewpoint on this earth. And I think that it's all valuable. It's like pieces to a puzzle. And I think by experiencing someone else's piece, you can almost add it to yourself and help you grow. If that makes sense. Like, for instance, I'm going to talk about cinema because I'm a filmmaker, so I'm a little bit biased. But when I look at films, for example, I can go into a film and within 180 minutes, by experiencing these characters and these stories, I can look at my own life and completely be transformed. Like one of my favorite films called The Pursuit of Happiness, which I would call a work of art because you see a man who loses everything, and despite losing everything, he still keeps his integrity and still works hard, and he comes out on the other side successful. And by seeing that, I believe that's an example of determination and positivity at the end of the day. So that's what I would say.
Well, it's nice to see your face light up too. Obviously, it's bringing it's bringing you joy. Thank you, Lanre. How about you? What do you think the connection is between art and positive feelings?
Art, because the beautiful thing about art is, as I said, is not only just painting. It's everything like Helena, actors, and things like that. And the joy of being able to release what's inside is the key thing for me, and it brings positivity. I've worked with somebody in prison once who was there for a long time, and when he started painting, he doesn't know how to paint, but he decided that he wants to be an actor, and he was in there because he abused his wife. But anyway, the problem was that when he started, we gave him a part to play in prison for where he can shout out. Art in different forms could be drama, it could be anything. If you can give a child or a young person an opportunity to release their pain through acting or writing or singing or painting, as long as it comes out, those are the positive things. If I didn't have anywhere to paint, that thing will kill me. That's inside. Rejection, everything will kill me. But I had the platform where I can paint. And from that, I was healed. If somebody has a place where he can write, it is music, even though he's singing and cursing and swearing, as long as that thing comes out, that's the therapy. It is writing, and you can write it out what's in your mind, and you can write it out whichever way, even though it doesn't sound right or you don't write it right, as long as you let it out, that's the therapy, that's the positive side. If it's dancing, dance it out. If it's acting, if you scream, you want to scream, you're an actor, scream it out. And those are the therapy, and those are the beautiful thing about art. And those are the positive side about it. Every single person has a gift. Every single person is unique. You will never find any Dr. Jacalyn in the whole entire universe. And that makes you unique. You might find somebody that looks like you, but you will always be unique. So anything you do, Dr. Jacalyn, is a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece. Ian, anything you do is a masterpiece.
I think that's Lanre, you've gone through so much turmoil in your life. Are you at peace now because of your art?
Really, I can hear that question.
Sorry, I'll say it again. You've gone through so much anguish in your life. Has art given you peace of mind at long last?
Art is my first love. And the greatest artist is the Creator himself. And he is the Prince of Peace, the Creator. And after finding art, for me, I found fulfillment and I found my purpose. Art is, for me, is being fulfilled. And because of that, that's why it makes me younger. It makes me love people. It makes me do what I want to do, and the freedom of doing what I want to do and being fulfilled. Art is what has given me all those things, and that's why it's my first love. And I cannot complain. I'm content to a certain extent because I need to leave a legacy. And this is what I share with other people. Art has allowed me to be able to do what I'm doing. As I said, I've worked with over 5,000 youth. That's the legacy. That's the legacy. And art has given me that opportunity and that peace of mind. It wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't my wife who understood me as an artist and allowed me to be that artist that I am. But without my wife, I won't be talking to you today. And she's my strength. And we stay beside each other. And I love her to bits. I love her so much. She's the greatest woman over for me. I'm not sure if she's watching now because she's busy. But she is my art. She's my everything. And she's my love. and I love her so much. So men out there, it's not behind a great man or a successful man is a great woman. It's beside. It's always beside. It's not behind or in front. It's always beside. It's together. She made me understand who I am. She made me see my feminine side. It's my wife. She made me understand myself. She made me understand that I can cry. She made me understand that, yeah, I can be vulnerable because I didn't understand it. I can see my paintings, people see it, my vulnerability through my work. But my wife made me understand that. And she allowed me to be who I am. And I found peace. And that's my story.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And your honesty, it's really, really great. And your love for your wife as well. It's lovely to hear that, and it's really empowering. I've seen your artwork, and it's fantastic, beautiful. And there's one particular piece that I've seen, which is called Hope, that I remember very, very well. And I think I want to ask you. He's up, and he's going to get the picture. Yep. I know he is. But I want to ask, but I'll wait till there it is. Yeah. Thank you. So that's Hope. And the thing that it's a lovely piece of work, but the thing that I remember is how long it took you to paint. Now, and I'm interested to know in general, how long does it take you to paint your artwork? Is it, does it take, I don't know, a day, years? Is every piece of artwork different? I don't know if you can hear me, Daniel, because you're showing us your beautiful artwork. But it's just good to know. This piece of artwork, Lanre explained to me, you can't see the whole piece, but he is in the painting at the bottom left. You can't see it. And the top right is the board, it's a flame, and the top right is hope. And everyone has hope. Even whatever situation you're in, you will always have that piece of hope. So you may be in a situation that you're not happy with, but you can move on from there. It's not a situation you stay in. Can you hear me, Lanre? I'm not sure. I can see your lovely face.
I think it's so interesting that when you look at that picture, you can see things. I see things differently. I see one view with hands holding something, and then I look and it almost looks like sort of like something out in the forest.
We can see the bottom left where you can see a person, which is Lanre. That little person there, that's him teaching his thought.
Amazing.
On the right, you've got hope.
Beautiful, stunning.
Well,
Fabulous. Thanks for sharing that with us, Lanre.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
thank you, Lanre.
The painting took me 4 years, and it took me 4 years to finish it. And that speaks of hope, regardless whatever it is we're going through. You can see a lot of people are going through pain. And that hand holding the ball or the wall actually symbolizes hope. Each person's pain could be headache, it could be trauma, it could be lack of school fees, it could be anything, but that's what you're going through. That's your hell you're going through. But regardless what hell you're going through, there is hope. And that's why that hand is holding the wall. That's why it's holding the wall to say there is hope. But you can see a lot of people are going through hell. But whatever your hell is, there is hope. If I can be here, through the hell I've been through, there is hope for you. And that's what this piece is about. I did this in 1989, and I finished in 1993.
Love that. Can I just ask another question on it? Do all your paintings do they all take a few years to paint, or do you have different time scales for your paintings? It just depends how you feel. I think you're on mute, Lanre.
Sorry, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Because I have different paintings, I paint different times. depending how I feel. That's why I'm not a conformist. You can't, that's why auction houses or big galleries don't take me, because I can't paint the way they want me to paint. I paint when I feel like painting it. And when the painting is on the canvas, it could be there for another 2 years without me touching it. But the painting calls me and says, Daddy, come on, paint. I need you to put yellow there and I need you to put red there. And I put it there. And so I have different paintings I paint at a different time. And that's how I paint. I don't paint because I want to make money. I never did that. Never did that.
Right.
I only paint with my emotion. And whenever that calls me, there's a call. Those pieces are already in that canvas. They just need somebody to bring them out. It's always there. But what I do, my job is to bring them out because they're always there. And that's how I paint.
Very impressive.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing. It's quite profound. I love that.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Al, do you have a question?
No, I know that we're coming up on a commercial break, and I'm just the one comment I have based on everything Lanre's been saying and what we've learned from Jacalyn is that we all need a little bit more art in our lives.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Really, it is.
I have a couple of questions before we come to our break. So I'm just wondering for both of you, Jacalyn and Lanre, where do you see the future of this organization going, and what dreams and ambitions do you have yet to fulfill? I'll start with Jacalyn.
Okay. So I guess in terms of like my personal ambitions and stuff like that, my kind of goal is for my films to go all across the globe, and for whoever comes across my films to enter my film thinking one way or being one way and leave transformed for the better. I really believe that films can transform lives, and I want to use my films with positive messages to transform lives that watch it.
I think that's fantastic. And while we have you on Spotlight, can you please tell us where we can find your work and support your projects?
Yeah, okay. So you can see my films and short films on my YouTube channel. If you type in Jacalyn Francis, my name, on YouTube, it will be the first channel that will appear. And yeah, as you can see in the thing there, one of my films that I've done recently is called Family Matters, which is 30 minutes long. And it has a heartwarming story about a young university student who becomes a father and his journeys of, learning the importance of family. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And for our friends who are listening on the radio and can't read the banner, the information that we definitely want you to take away is that Jacalyn Francis is a filmmaker, an actor, a writer, and one of his films is called Family Matters, and you can find it on YouTube by putting in his name and Family Matters, or just his name. So thank you so much. Let's go over to you, Lanre, and if you can share with us, where do you think the future of the organization is going, and what dreams and ambitions do you still have to fulfill?
Well, yeah, I think one thing what I want to do is leave a legacy, and through Art Alive, that's what we want to do, legacy for the youth. That we want to build a center, which is Art Alive Academy, which we're in the process of doing that, where there will be centers for filmmakers, artists in residence, fashion designers, and name it, sculptors, shoemakers, and goes on and on. So there will be a place where all these collectives can come together and people can see what they're doing. They can be productive. At the same time, they can have their own brands and do things. I want to build great artists from this academy. It would be like a school, but where great filmmakers come out of there, great fashion designers come out of there, and name it, every single thing. And that's the future that's one thing I will pray. I'm praying that will be established, even though before I die, I don't know when. But you know what? I want people to support. I want people to go to artalive.org.uk, which is our charity name. And if you want to know more about my story, you can always Google my name, Lanre Olagoke, artist, and you see a lot of my story and my ambition and my, and please, if you are interested in the arts, 25% of my paintings goes towards Art Alive Arts Trust, and it supports Center Point as well, because I work with the CEO, who's the CEO of Center Point, working with the young people, which is Sheyi Obaki. Center Point is another charity I've chosen to support because I work with them and what they're doing, which Prince William is, of course, one of the patrons, which Princess Diana, who I met before she passed away, concerning Center Point, and that's where her heartbeat is. And so please, let's support Art Alive Arts Trust. And if you buy a painting or prints, it goes 25% goes towards the charities that I've just mentioned, which is Center Point and Art Alive Arts Trust. And yes, I would love to come to America.
We would love to have you here for sure. And for people who are listening on the radio, the website is artalive, artalive.org.uk. And if you missed any of the show, please head on over to our YouTube channel afterwards and subscribe, Dr. Jacalyn LLC. Gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure having you here. We are going to take a quick break and hear from our sponsors, but we support everything you're doing. And Ian and Helena, thank you so much for inviting them to the show today.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll be right back after we hear from some of our sponsors. Thank you.
Have you just lost your job or have been laid off and you are looking to transition to a new job or career? Maybe you have even tried submitting tons of applications and yet you keep getting turned down for jobs you qualify for. Don't wait until you become overwhelmed with rejections when you can easily transition or get your dream job. Let MJW Careers guide you to the right career path and a better, brighter future. At MJW Careers, we know what hiring managers are looking for, and our goal is to land you the job you deserve. What makes MJW Careers a wonderful provider over other services is our pragmatic and scientific approach to resume writing. There are rules, there are visual cues, there are content best practices. We understand those and work within the boundaries to ensure our clients' messaging appeals to the decision makers. Our career consultants will help you transition into new roles quickly and effectively. With our experience in virtually every industry, we will provide direction in the frustrating job market by helping you write a customized, professional resume and prepare you for your interview as well. Join the great number of people we have helped scale up to greater things in their careers. Let us help you on your career journey. Come visit us, www.jobstickers.com, to learn more and grab a free resume review or ebook.
Located at 121 Haddon Avenue in Westmont, New Jersey, is Margie Cedrone, artisan jeweler. Margie's been in business for more than 30 years. She works with her clients to create custom pieces of jewelry to reflect their personality and help them make their own bold statement. Starting in the renowned Jewelers Row in Center City, Philadelphia in 1988, Margie works directly with her clients to develop one-of-a-kind pieces such as necklaces, engagement rings, wedding bands, unique watches and tennis bracelets, as well as a myriad of rings and earrings for everyone in your family. She also has worked directly with Dr. Jacalyn over the years, creating unique pieces of jewelry to reflect her personality. She does pearl stringing and repairs on site at 121 Haddon Avenue. Call or text Margie at 215-384-7155. Margie Cedrone Jewelry is open by appointment only. Make your own bold statement.
Welcome back, everybody, to Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn. My name is Cini, and this beautiful lady over here, it's very difficult to do that, I know, is, yes, exactly. See what I mean? See how hard that is? Is Dr. Jacalyn, and another lovely lady, Helena Chard, and Ian Pelham Turner. So great working with all you guys. And, you know, there were so many
publics this afternoon.
You know, there were so many great takeaways in that first interview, Ian and Helena and Lanre, and I mean, they were such great guests. And I know you've got more great guests for us, so why don't we just go right into the next segment?
We have because I think today's show is all about people overcoming adversity and creating tremendous opportunities in their lives as well. So our second guest today is Teuta Avdyli. I hope to bring Teuta on if we can, please.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for having me. I'm so happy to be here. Love for you all. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
What a beautiful background behind you.
Can you eat that, or is that just today?
And you know what? I can compliment Dr. Jacalyn because I have full of energy too.
Yeah. Yay!
Perfect.
Oh, beautiful.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much.
So Teuta, you're a mother, you're a best-selling author, you're a motivational speaker, you're a transformational parenting coach, a philanthropist, and also, as I know, a proud Albanian. But a few seconds of your life when you were at a set of traffic lights on your bicycle changed your life. Tell us your story.
That's right. Yes, I was doing great academically. Actually, I involved in hobbies, but deep down inside of me, I wasn't happy. There was this little voice saying, "Is this all?" Which I kept ignoring. I kept it to myself, but it wasn't always this way. It was September 2016. Finally, my children were full-time at school, and I was rejoicing because now, after being 10 years a stay-at-home mom, I was ready to break free and to put myself first and to create my own dreams. But little did I know that I was getting ready to meet something that will change my life forever. It is that moment when you say, "That's it, I am done." I got my bicycle and cycling on the road, and suddenly I felt a huge bang. I was flung to the side of the road and knocked down on the ground. I couldn't comprehend what was happening to me. My heart came to my throat from the sunshine to the darkness. When I saw a big truck that came over my legs 3 times. I screamed, "Help!" But the driver didn't see me. The second rollover, I screamed with exceeding and a bitter cry. If you were there, you'd see the desperation on my voice and my soul, pure terror. Then I was looking around. Oh yes, how to help myself. Oh yes, I saw a steel pole in front of me. I reached for it and I grabbed it with my 2 hands. And I gave my body a big push, hoping to save my legs from the third rollover. But I couldn't move an inch as my feet were trapped under the bicycle wheel. Pool of blood gushing everywhere. I felt utterly perplexed and dignified. And in the midst of that, I raised my eyes and I pleaded to God and said, "God, please help me now. Let me live even without legs, even without arms. But just keep my heart and keep my mind. Oh, my children, they are too young. How can I live without saying my last goodbyes?" I felt that I was living, completely accepting of death. I closed my eyes and I was floating on the wide, bright clouds. Then something opened up. This powerful voice said, No, this is not your end yet. This too shall pass. How about you, children?" And immediately I got back the will to live again. A sense of peace and unbelievable strength came over me. No this, no past, no future. Just the present moment exists. Nothing that mattered anymore. Just my eternity. I could feel this sensation, this vibration, this energy through every fiber of my being. What an amazing feeling. It was coming so intense. It was so magical. I called this just God. If I could, just only could, describe that feeling and give and share it with humanity. But I can't. I am not big enough. There in hospital bed, I was fighting for my life, and doctor couldn't believe the miracle I became. I found my greatness. I found my purpose. There in hospital bed, I was fighting again, and I was listening, and I never knew how precious life is until I was gasping to get another air. I never knew how precious life is when I wanted to live. That's when, again, I remember that there was this inner voice said to me, slow down, you worry too much. I knew exactly what that meant. That was my new U-turn moment. The guilt, the shame that I felt of being a controlled mother. And all I wanted is to succumb and start again. But we cannot do that. We cannot divorce our children. How many of you are like me that we don't know and realize the damage that we do to our children? I can Corey.
Wow. That is
It's quite a story.
You just
Oh my gosh.
energy as well about you. Thank you. Goodness me.
Thank you.
I have a question I want to ask you, but you've almost answered it in your own way, really, anyway. But
Thank you.
You went through a huge amount of pain, obviously, and torment during the hospital stay.
Yeah.
Finding that strength. How did you manage to find that strength?
That's a very good question. I remember that when the doctor came to me and said, Teuta, you know that you sustained a very serious injury on your ankle. And I went multiple operations. The main one lasted 12 hours from the morning until evening. And he said, we're going to do our best, but we cannot promise that you're going to walk again. I remained quiet. And then I looked at him and I said, it's okay. Do you know why? Because I loved being alive. I remember when my children came to visit me at hospital. My son was 4 years old at the time. With the tears rolling down in his face, he said, Mommy, you're not gonna die. We haven't finished our story yet. My children were my strength, were my motivation, my big why, the fuel that kept me going. That's why I wrote my first book, Born to Stand Out and Not to Fit In. Before the accident, I was not living my greatness. I was living small. I was playing small, but this time I want to do what I want is to make this, to change it, to be the woman that I was meant and intended to be. This time, I cannot take it for granted. So since the accident, I've been sharing my message to different TV channels, radio programs, featured in magazine, newspapers internationally, became a bestseller author, multi-award winner. But this time, I want to shine my light, and so can you. And that is, again, when I wrote my second book, Family Legacy of Love. I remember what Les Brown said, that if your why is big enough, you will find your how. So that's what I say. Ask yourself, what is your big why? So that's asking your question, Dr. Jacalyn, was my children, was my family, my husband, my everyone, and was like the love that I felt with life. Life is too beautiful to be wasted. I felt in love with life. I never knew how precious life is until that moment.
Teuta, that is such an emotional, beautiful, dramatic story. I know that for you, a second chance in life was a deeply personal experience, but now you're paying that forward, hopefully to millions of people who really could use those lessons. How is that for you? What's that like for you?
It's been, I say this, and I've been through some stuff, and I know some stuff. And what I've been through, I say that I am in a position that I can help people. I can take them from the point of darkness and I can send to them to the point, to a place of hope and finding the clarity, finding their purpose. And I can cry with them. I can laugh with them. I can celebrate with them. And I can change and can transform them. And that's what I want to impact. This is my legacy. That's what I want to impact. My life is not about me anymore. And I remember those days that I was in a very, very vulnerable state. It was like 8 months. I couldn't walk. My husband carried me like as a baby. And I thank him for everything he done. But I remember there was this little voice that saying, Teuta, get up. The story happened to you, but it's not for you. Get up, because there are people there that are waiting to hear your story. There are people there that needs to be helped. And I answered the calling of my life. And I am glad that I did. And I am not going to make any mistake, because that's what I promised God. If you make me this time, if you make me put me to the other side of the bridge, I promise that I am not going to play small anymore. And I am not. And this is just the beginning.
Wow, such a powerful story told with such passion. And I just feel that all the love that you have inside of you, that you really are all about helping other people. So thank you so much for that. And congratulations on your transformation. You mentioned that you've written 2 books. Where can people find your work?
Yeah, the first book is in Amazon, Born to Stand Out and Not to Fit In. The second book, Family Legacy of Love, is in editing stage, is soon to be released. Actually, it was meant to be released last year, but I am glad that I didn't, because everything happened for a reason, because I had to did some courses during the pandemic, helping parents, parenting, Family Legacy of Love, which is very, very close to my heart. And I am growing, I am evolving, and I am humble. And I love listening. I love learning from others. And that's why, because the more knowledgeable are, the better I can help and guide my people, my tribe.
And Teuta, I know you use the anagram LOVE, LOVE. And that stands for live our values every day. So what put that into your head in the first place? And
yes.
What does that mean to you?
Yes, love. What I mean about love, live our values every day means to be the most authentic version of yourself in all aspects of your life. Is who you are and what is important to you, because perhaps I might have the same values of you, but you may define them in different way. So what I mean about that is to live you authentic yourself, not just in the work or in your family, but in all areas that matters to you. Leading with your heart. Your values guide you to the decision and set the tone of how you live your life. Living your values is very powerful way to lead an intentional life. Living your values bring more stability and authenticity to your life, because you know who you are and you stand and what you stand for or what you don't stand for. and living in the alignment with your values. Also, it helps you to bring you closer to finding your life purpose and how you can serve the world and others. So yes, how to bring like and sometimes as well on when you are not in alignment with your values, you don't feel good, isn't it? So you know that is not, and it's okay. Sometimes we can get off like life is too busy, overwhelmed, and but you have to again put yourself and respect those values. Because I say as well, for example, like for me, the value is courage, for example, or faith. The dictionary, I mean, you might find the dictionary, I mean, the definition of dictionary about the courage is the ability to do something that frightens one. But for my personal definition, is courage is like think that to how to get to have to get to action, like to have action actually. So about how you feel to be, and you are in alignment as well, and it doesn't feel as well. So it's about putting your action. It doesn't matter. It might not be comfortable. It might not be convenient for you, but you still do it because you know who you are, and that's what it is.
Wow.
Thank you. Hi, Helena here. So, do you have unfulfilled ambitions? Very simple one, but maybe.
Oh, I don't think I have. I just started, to be honest with you. I have many. I have just started. I am a baby one. So yes, I do have. I have a long journey to go and to fulfill all my ambition. I have ambition to create my dream charity, to create my dream life, and also well to remind me that it's not just about me, it's about others. And I am glad that I am still and I am grounded to that thought. I have that positive mindset because that's what it is. I mean, having that positive mindset to know who you are, it kind of separates the best from the rest.
There is such a great lesson even in that. And, Teuta, as I'm listening to you, I'm thinking you're a motivational speaker, you're a parenting coach, you're a transformational coach, you're a philanthropist, and you're a best-selling author. Is there one of those things you like doing best? I mean, do you have a favorite of those roles?
I mean, all of them, they kind of define me, who I am. But parenting is very close to my heart because our children, our peace, our future, our nature depends on our children. And we have to invest on those generations. It's that will create the future generation, the future leaders of tomorrow. So yes, as a parent, we have a big responsibility to mold and to shape our future generation. And it's made, when I see children, when I see girls, when I see daughters, I see my children and I see them, and I'm very, very close to them. And I love, and the second book is about parenting. And this book starts from a point of love. I found fulfillment when I wrote this book because it's not just for me. It's not just for my family or community. It's for everyone. And I came to the point that I am far from being perfect, far away from being a perfect parent. But I felt that I have things to share with the world. I have things, a framework, strategies, and tips and home tasted that I am doing with my children, which I felt that I want to share with everyone, with the parents, with the mother. And I truly believe that the end result will be love.
I feel you've really found your calling because your energy is really contagious and your passion. And I see you as a very proud Albanian woman who's found success in Britain. And I'm wondering, what are the values between both countries that you feel have helped you?
That is very good question, and it's very close to my heart as well. I can start from my country where I came from. Is my parents brought me very well, full of love. They gave me love, and they gave me those. I was grounded on this foundation with good values. I remember when my mom would say to me that love people for who they are and not what you want them to be, and accept them, accept the differences. And now thinking, I think that she knew very well because she planted those seeds and I kept watering them. And when I came to London, it was I love London. I love the city of London. I mean, it's so close to me. I love the country. I love the inclusion, the diversity, the history of London. And when I came here, it was hard, but I kind of embraced, and the transition was hard, but I still embraced it very well because I love people. I am a woman. I am people's. What do you say? Yes, please help me. Yes, I am. Yes, people's woman. Yes. So I love people, and here in UK as well. As I said, I kept watering what I had, the values as well, and it made me. I matured as well, but also what I found that I found very, very fundamental and very transformational for me as well. I found faith here. That we in my country, I couldn't. There was time that we couldn't practice. That we didn't have the freedom of faith. But here I found I was looking to have a relationship with God. And I found, and I matured spiritually. I have spiritual maturation, which helped me in all areas in my life. And I love London. I love London. I am so happy, and I'm so blessed to be here in this country. And I thank Ian for always helping us, like successful mothers. You are there and helping us and helping Albanian community. You are blessed to have you.
Thank you.
Wow.
Just very finally, I'm trying to work out which part of London you're in. I'm looking at your backgrounds at the moment.
Okay, do you know? Because we couldn't go on holiday. I brought the holiday in my
with
house.
you.
This is my wall.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
What's the best way for people to get in touch with you and support your work?
Yes, I have my website, legacyoflove.co.uk. You can find me on Facebook, Teuta Avdyli, and LinkedIn, Teuta Avdyli as well. So, and for today, whoever contacts me, I'll give 30-minute free coaching. So please get on that phone and give me a call, and I'll be your coach. And you will not be disappointed because I will be you often. I will be you, take you from the zero to hero. I know what I'm talking about. Holistic being.
I have no doubt that you will. And you realize that this broadcast is going to be out there on the public domain forever. So you're going to be getting a lot of phone calls.
I'm thinking, Teuta, you're so much more than just a coach. You're an advocate. And all that energy that you bring and the experience you bring, I think that makes you really special. So
thank you so
much.
Thank
you for that.
Thank you so much. And yes, I am so grateful being here. And what I want to say before, am I done? Am I finished?
We're at
nearly?
A little bit. How much time do we have, Doc?
We're 30 minutes over, so we have.
Keep going.
Okay, what I want to say that is, I would say to everyone out there that You see me now that I'm speaking, but you would never imagine the unspeakable pain that I went through. Oh, yes, I had some dark and deep moments. I had to go through therapy to reinvent and regain myself again. But despite all of that, I brought my own sunshine. I don't know what's going on in your life. Perhaps you have family problem, lost your loved ones, feeling depressed, or even contemplating ending your life. But here it is what I know. Never, never give up. Life is too beautiful to be wasted. As my mentor Les Brown says, it is not over until you win.
I love it. That's a great way to close out the show. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure and honor meeting you.
Thank you so much. It's my honor, and I thank you, all of you, and have a great day. And thank you, Mr. Jan. And I would like to thank Philip Chan as well, and I call him a Superman. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Brilliant.
Wow. I am speechless. That was so moving. What a great show. Thank you so much.
Terrific program. Great guests. Thank you, Ian and Helena.
Absolutely. Well, 90 minutes today, my goodness, but hopefully it's been a great show. And I know Helen and I both are very thankful for all the work that you're doing as well. Great shows like this.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll look forward to catching up with you later. And we wish you a beautiful rest of your day.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye. Well, my friend, that was outstanding. Ian and Helena have the most amazing people that they bring, and I'm glad we can share their stories.
They
So
always think they can be relied on to do that. And I can't wait till next Wednesday. This is so much fun for me.
I know it is fun, and I get to see you. I get to see you on the business show coming up, but in between we have the Underdog show. So I need to say au revoir and go change and get ready for that. So thank you for being here, Al.
Such a pleasure. Thank you, Doc.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. We really appreciate your loyalty. If you missed any part of this show or any of our shows, don't worry. It's okay. You can go over to our YouTube channel, Dr. Jacalyn LLC. Just click on that little button that says subscribe, and you'll be notified of all of our programming. If you'd like to be a guest, we'd be happy to hear your story. You can go to drjacalyn.com and book your session. As I mentioned, we have the Underdog show coming up in 27 minutes. So I'm going to say goodbye for now. We've got a full day of programming, 18 shows all week, and we're just so happy to have you here. Thank you again, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon.